Learning how to regulate your emotions can garner your success in anything that you want to do in life. Don't allow yourself to be dictated over how you're feeling in the given moment. Because if you're basing yourself off of how you feel in the given moment, you're basing yourself off of how you feel right now. And how you feel right now may continue if you allow it to stay. If you don't feel like doing something in that given moment, but you know that it's something that you must work towards doing, you're allowing yourself to stay stagnant. We don't want to stay stagnant. We don't want to allow this emotion to take us away from the action that we said that we were going to put forth. Putting forth action and effort towards combating these feelings, these emotions, is something that is humanly possible. We are flawed beings. We are emotional creatures. But if you allow yourself to be overwhelmed and overran by your emotional state, you will allow your emotions to sway you into doing specific things, rather than realizing that you have a set plan that you need to put forth effort into doing. So let's dissect that a bit. Going back to allowing yourself to stay in the emotional mindset of doing something, putting forth action and effort behind it, it's going to be uncomfortable, because whenever you're trying to make yourself do something that you don't feel like doing, it's going to feel like a difficult task. It's going to suck. But when you know that this is something that you must do consistently and with effective energy and effort into it, you'll know that this is something that is proven to show you growth and change. Because every single time you right after that feeling of not wanting to do something, you're missing every given opportunity for you. A lot of us take time to scroll on social media. You spend countless hours consuming. This is even a form of consumption, this video in it of itself. However, when you get stuck in consuming and not making action and or effort towards doing things that you told yourself that you were going to do, you will constantly get into that cycle of not doing anything at all. You're just going to be in the same place that you were yesterday. And with that self-improvement and reflection of yourself, you have to realize, when is the day going to come when you're going to appreciate who you are and put forth the energy into yourself, rather than allowing it to waste away looking at what somebody else is doing. Your emotions are taking you to a place where you're afraid of perception. You're afraid of how you're perceived by other people. And that perception can weigh down on you a lot, because we don't like to be perceived in a negative manner. Being perceived in a specific way that we don't want to show the world is something that we don't have control over. So allow yourself to understand that you cannot have control over every situation, every person, and how they view you, how they look at you. Because in reality, how people perceive you is a reflection of themselves. Even though that you yourself are a different person, you have a different mindset, you have a different way of thinking. The way that the person sees you may not be the person that you are to yourself. So perception shouldn't be a thing that takes you away from doing whatever it is that you want to do in life. I had a problem with image and perception, and more so, it was doubt that it is possible to do anything that I desire to do. But in this life, we have desires, we have dreams, we have goals. And if you do not put forth energy towards these dreams, these goals, these aspirations that you have, they're constantly going to be put on the back burner. It was put on the back burner for me because when I went off to college, all that I did was focus on my studies. I was focusing and fixating on graduating, that I didn't set forth the time to create. I didn't set forth a plan, a schedule, something that I was conditioned to doing in order to reach where I want to be and reach where I am today. It is definitely difficult to get into the habit of telling yourself there is something that you should be doing rather than what you want to be doing. But what you should be doing is something that may be uncomfortable right now, but in the future, as you progress and keep doing it, it gets easier. The more that you run away from things, the harder they are. And you don't want to be in a state where you're constantly just winging it or getting into situations that you don't feel confident in. The more effort that you put behind things, the more that you go after things, the better you will become, the better you will be. And I say this with a grain of salt because really, you have to see your own growth. You have to see your own potential. You have to reflect on the past moments that you've had. The past is also a teaching tool. It can show you where you lack. It can show you where you need to grow. And then you can fixate on those things that you want to change about yourself. Don't allow your emotions to take you to a place where you're in a constant cycle of negativity. You don't put forth action. You think about something and you don't do it. I've gotten into the habit of doing that. But most recently, out of that habit, because it takes conditioning. It takes going back and forth and against that gradient to fix yourself from that previous self that allows you to stay in your comfort space. And truly, it is a risk. It is a risk that you take in life, but you risk the life that you want when you don't take that risk in it of itself at the beginning. Not everything in life is easy, but it definitely does get easier the more that you put action behind it. So going back to allowing your emotions to control you, stop attaching to the negativity. Predominantly, this is to show you and for you to understand that the more that you're led by your negative emotions, the more that you will stay down in these holes that you create for yourself. You're digging your own ditch whenever you allow these thoughts to stay in your forefront of your mind. Don't allow that to overcome the person that you are, because you have a light to shine and you're over here covering it up, dimming yourself just because you're afraid. You may not have the equipment that you want to. You can set up your camera. Ignore this microphone. I talk about this microphone all the time. I have problems with this microphone as well. But as far as not having the equipment, man, just buy a mic off of TikTok. And if you can't buy a mic off of TikTok, use your phone. What is it? Your phone microphone. It is okay to not have the things that you desire in life right now. But it is not okay to allow those things to hinder you, to take you away from the places that you are meant to be, where you're meant to go. Thinking that you are not enough, thinking that you don't have enough are excuses. In my honest opinion, they're all excuses, and we all use that excuse to pacify the feeling of not doing something that we know in our mind that we must be doing. I almost got so passionate that I cursed. That's why I paused, but know that it is okay. Take your time. Do it with reason, and it gets easier. It will be easier, and it will be easy to a point where you're thinking about doing something and you do it rather than giving it 3 days, a week, a month. You'll just get right into it. Believe in yourself, as I believe in myself, and we'll keep working at it. That's all you have to do in life. And I hope that this helps someone. I hope that it flip the switch in your mind to realize that really you lock in on your terms, no matter the excuses, the amount of things that you go through. It is all determined and predetermined on your action, your effort. So follow it up with action, and don't allow your emotions to dictate what you do.